Well, it was nice to get back to work today. The bye week was great for, I think, everybody. Came back energized, excited to be back, and we know that we've got a big game ahead of us this weekend against a tough opponent that's playing really well. Offensively, we've got to get ready for a physical football game. They're a big physical group. Their defensive line, their linebackers, everybody plays physical, so we got to come ready to play, and we will come Sunday.
Matt, were you roommates with Carson at USC?
I was roommates with Carson at USC.
What do you remember about him, and what do you think some of his strengths are?
As a player?
Yeah.
Or as a person?
Both.
No. You know, Carson's a great guy, and he's a great friend of mine, and I'm excited that he gets the opportunity to play again. I'm happy for him and his family. I know that that was something that he wanted to do, and he'll get an opportunity, and I'll be a fan of his every day but two of them, you know, when we play him, and it'll be fun to compete against him.
Can you put yourself in his shoes? I mean, you hadn't played competitive football for, whatever, 9-10 months, and he's kind of parachuting in. He's got to maybe play in 4 or 5 days. I mean, how difficult is that?
You know, I don't know. I've never been put in that situation, but I know that he's played a lot of football before. You know, I think this is his ninth year in the NFL, and he played a lot of football in college as well. So I'm sure if anybody can do it, Carson can do it.
Have you guys been in touch since you got traded to Oakland?
You know, I gave him a call yesterday just to congratulate him, but I haven't heard back. I'm sure he's got a lot on his plate.
What did you think about him coming to Oakland?
You know, like I said, as a friend, I'm excited for him and that he gets an opportunity to play. And then I'm also excited to get the opportunity to play against him. I think he's a great quarterback, and obviously has a tremendous amount of skills, and it'll be fun to be out there and competing.
Matt, you mentioned their defensive line. I'm sure you're paying attention to that and
right.
The threat they pose. But how are you gearing yourself up for going against a line like that that's just big and kind of nasty? And then what are you saying to your blockers to try to get them to keep you upright on Sunday?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things that you have to go in with a mentality, you know, and you've got to know that it's going to be a physical football game, and those guys are going to win some battles, but as long as we can go out there and execute the game plan and put ourselves in the right position, we'll be fine.
You mentioned earlier the Raiders are a physical team, maybe one of the more physical teams you guys play against. Right. How do you see that? I mean, what tells you that a team is a physical team?
You can just see how they hustle around, how they hit you, and how they create pressure on the quarterback. And it's a team that that you can see them play hard each and every play. And that's what I mean by physical. And you can also tell just from the physicality of looking at them. You know, they're all big players. Even their linebackers are big guys. You know, so that's how they play.
You guys have been outscored pretty handily in the first halves of games. You've gotten off to some slow starts as an offense. Is there anything you can do to correct that? What have you guys been doing recently to try to hit the ground running a little bit?
Well, I'm not going to jump into specifics, but you bring up a great point. You know, it's a point of emphasis for us in the bye week, and it's been a point of emphasis as we move forward to try to start faster in games. And it's something that we've worked hard on, and hopefully it'll show come Sunday.
Is there any chance that Baldwin will be in there playing?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Coach in terms of personnel and all that. So I know he's been working hard to get back out there, and we'll have to see.
Those guys, they handled you pretty well last year. How much of a motivation is that for you? A team in your own division, they didn't lose in the division last year. How much of an extra motivator is it?
Well, I think it's a great motivation that they're a division rival, and I know last year was last year, and they did a good job on us when they played us last year. But at the same time, it's a new year, and so we got to go out there and be prepared, like I said, for who we're playing this year.
Obviously, it's the coach's decision if Baldwin's going to play, but just as a quarterback, how have you guys been developing your chemistry? I know you said that was going to be an issue, like just getting on the same page with him. And if he does play, what can he bring to the offense?
You know, I don't really know how to evaluate him right now, but to be completely honest, you get out there and practice, and you continue to work with him and throw routes and open those lines of communication. You know, what are you seeing? What am I seeing? How you want to run a route specifically, and try to get on the same page that way.
What did Richard Seymour inject into that defensive front when he went there, beyond the fact that he's a very talented player? Right.
You know, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the game. You know, he's big, he's physical, he plays hard, and it's hard to block him one-on-one because he's a talented guy and he's a wide load. So, I had an opportunity to play with him in New England, and I think he's a heck of a player. And obviously he's carried that over to Oakland as well.
Was he there in New England, a locker room presence? Was he a guy who was one of that group that kind of, took care of everybody else in the team, good and bad?
Absolutely, he's a great leader, and he had quite a presence about himself, and worked with the young guys well. And he's a good person as well as a good player.
Is he a talker and on the field, and how, I mean, so like to you, and how many defensive linemen, if they get to you, are going to yap a little bit?
Well, there's some defensive linemen that'll yap a little bit more than others, but Richard just kind of lets you know that he's there just by kind of leaning on you a little bit. But he's not much of a talker. Maybe he will be on Sunday. I don't know.
Matt, the black hole, has it gotten scarier the more you've come to know the rivalry and gotten out there? I mean, does that really play a big part in the presence when you go out to Oakland?
You know, I love the atmosphere out there. I think it's a fun place to play. And, you know, you used to talk about the black hole and you see these amazing fans and all these fun costumes and stuff like that. So I just think it's a great environment and a great stadium play. And it's a lot of fun when you go out there and get to play out there.
Did you root for them? Or who were you a fan of when you were a kid? Were you a Raider fan?
No, I wasn't a Raider fan growing up, so I can't say that.
Did you have any relationship with Hugh Jackson in that freshman year at Southern Cal?
He was my quarterback coach my freshman year at USC, so I know Coach Jackson real well, and he's a good man. I know his family, so he's doing a good job up there.
What makes him a good coach?
What makes him? I haven't been around him for a long time, so like I said, I was still trying to learn my X's and O's when I came in my redshirt freshman year, and keep my mouth shut. So I learned a lot from him, and you know, he since has moved on and had a lot of success.
Matt, you may have addressed this, but can you tell if this team, you know, after bye weeks, it's always been hard to come back and get right in where you left off. Can you tell, is there something different about after practice today, or the way this team is excited to get to a division opponent and continue what you started, that you can avoid that, you know, that getting back into the swing of things and get that momentum going again?
Right. Well, I thought the energy at practice was great today. I thought the guys came out with a lot of enthusiasm, and this bye week couldn't have come at a better time, I think, for our team. It allowed us to get a little extra time on a good opponent coming up here with the Raiders, and at the same time gave us a little rest and allowed our team to heal a little bit. And so to get back out there today, you could see that everybody's ready to go, and hopefully that'll translate into a good, successful win on Sunday.